She resides in New York City, but is originally from Mexico. This is Elizabeth's second speech from the Presentation Mastery Pathway. She is working on the Evaluation and Feedback project, and the purpose of this presentation is to collect feedback from her evaluator and from Toastmasters in the chat, and then repeat the speech incorporating the feedback. Madame Timer, this is a 5 to 7 minute speech. Please help me welcome Elizabeth with her presentation, The Adventure of a Lifetime. The Adventure of a Lifetime, Elizabeth Espinosa.
5 years ago, I started reading and seeing a lot of pictures about Iceland, and it created in me the desire to visit one day. 2 years later, I had the opportunity to go solo, but I read everywhere that it was not a good idea to visit Iceland alone, especially during the winter, as the roads can be dangerous. Since then, I thought I would love to travel there with a group of friends. 2 years ago, we went into quarantine, and little did we know how much this quarantine would impact our lives. I can say I feel blessed that aside from the pandemic impacting my life in many positive ways, one of them was getting closer to a group of friends from work that have become more like my family. 3 Mexicans, 1 Venezuelan, and a German. We started traveling together during quarantine, as for all of us, it was not possible to leave the country to spend time with our families. Traveling with friends turned out to be an amazing bonding experience. Last year, I asked my friends if we could all travel to Puerto Rico to celebrate my 30th birthday. They all said yes right away. A few weeks later, we were on the beach in Puerto Rico, enjoying the sunshine. The days went by very fast. And on our last day on the beach, I said, "So where are we going next?" The first place that came to my mind was Iceland. So I shouted, "Iceland!" They were all excited about the going to Iceland together. I did all the research, and as a good vacation planner, I made sure we all booked our tickets together and booked a few Airbnbs. To me, there was not a better way to start 2022 than traveling to Iceland on February 24th. January flew by, and the date for our departure arrived. We arrived in Iceland very early in the morning. It was crazy windy and rainy. We grabbed some breakfast at Brick, a cute bakery. We got fresh bread, pastries, coffee, and planned for the day. The weather was quite unpredictable, but we were ready with lots of layers of clothes and different pairs of boots. Our first stop was the world-famous Blue Lagoon. A lagoon is a geothermal spa fed by warm volcanic water. The giant Blue Lagoon has a year-round temperature of 39 degrees Celsius. We could not believe the setting. It was misty and foggy, and the water was so warm. It was like we were in a dream world. Every day we went sightseeing. I will never forget those drives. The views were unbelievable. We would be driving in the middle of a snowstorm, and you could barely see 10 feet away. But 30 minutes later, the sky would be clear, and you could see how the snow would blend in with the sky. The sun would come out, and we were the only ones on the road. Those rides gave me such a feeling of peace. I have never before felt so grateful to be alive, to experience the beauty of nature at an extreme level. I was able to feel the power of the wind, the power of the water, and how beautiful the snow was. I felt like I was transported to Narnia. It just felt like a different world. It was such a unique place. During our drives, we saw many beautiful Icelandic horses, mountains, and waterfalls too. Half of our trip we spent soaking in Icelandic lagoons. Our favorite lagoon was the Secret Lagoon, the oldest lagoon in Iceland. Soaking for hours in the water while chatting with my friends and drinking some bubbles. That was my ideal picture for a perfect vacation in Iceland. On our last couple of days in Iceland, we went on a tour that took us to a glacier. We teamed up. I rode the snowmobile with my friend Frank, and Danny rode with Ingrid. Frank drove as fast as he could, and I just enjoyed the ride. I have never felt more alive, feeling the wind on my face while also getting sun-kissed. This view was beyond amazing. We were the only ones there, and it felt like one of those adventures you watch on a documentary from National Geographic. Our destination was an ice cave. When we finally arrived, I waited to be the last one to enter so I could just slide down into the cave. All I could think about is how nature is so beautiful and perfect and mesmerizing. The memory of that day will forever live in my heart. Sadly, our last day arrived, and we decided to go back to the place where everything started. Yes, that would be Brick, the bakery, and grab some coffee and our last pastry in Iceland and take one for the flight. Before I flew to Iceland, people told me things like, oh, it is too expensive, or the food is bad, or it's way too cold and windy. Only one of my friends told me, it is a magical place and you are going to love it. At first, I didn't understand what she meant with magical place. After being in Iceland, now all I can think about is how magical it was. I have never felt more grateful to be alive. I never felt at peace so much. The food was delicious. The bread and pastries were unreal. And all the meat was fantastic. It was not too cold and windy because we were prepared for it. Life is all about perception. And if anything, Iceland is a magical place that will give you a different perspective on life.